call it, a modification to the original.
Amenity.
Yes, in other words, just so we start right there, we would need a community vote of 51%. I don't think you need 80%. I'm not sure.
It was not technically limited, so.
Well, wait a minute now, there were 3 working days, and now we only have 2.
Because it was before.
It's a man.
This is where I know something you know. It was done before, it was turned over on purpose. What they did was say, how can we save money and get this community vote? We're going to cut the television and we're going to cut the back gate. Then the builder said, fine, we're gone. Now it's done. Believe it or not, you can't go back the other way without half the community vote.
I have a question.
Brian.
This is a prime example of why it's taken 3 months for the security committee to actually get anything accomplished, and I'm still not sure what we've accomplished in 3 months. I mean, I've attended all 3 meetings, and it's bickering back and forth, and in my opinion, I own a business, and it's very simple. This is not rocket science. We're not creating a new highway. Elon Musk has already done that. This is a security company that has 4 deficiencies against them for falsifying credentials of their employees. This isn't, this is a liability issue. 30 days is plenty. I think we could have a new company in here in 30 days.
Can I make a recommendation?
Be nice, Wanda, be nice.
And it's not Christine's fault. Just I want to put that out.
Oh, thank you for telling me that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing it.
Oh, really? Sorry. Doing it, you know what I mean? Just like you have.
Actually,
I
we're
actually
not going to have you shower.
Company.
Brian, please.
You need to stop.
And Wanda, please. Okay, so you had comments, please.
You know, you say that you've heard serious problems. I'd like a survey to go out to the community to see how many people are really dissatisfied with our service. I mean, here we're making decisions, that
Why are you so hell bent on doing what the security committee wants to do?
I don't know what the security committee wants to do that. Is that really the decision of the security committee? I don't know that.
Hold on. We're not going to have back and forth here. We're going to have a meeting.
I mean,
Tell me,
I was trying to
please give me
finish,
something.
Well, I think everybody will have their turn.
Yes.
I just feel that I have not heard about a report about how severe, bad our security company is. Okay? I haven't seen that many reports. Yes, there are some incidences that have occurred, but that can happen with any guard system. It can happen with G4S. You can have one bad apple. Okay, that's why you have a management company dealing with that and saying, hey, this guy is no good, bring me somebody else. That can happen.
I can tell you just in a month,
Yeah, I'll tell you
I'm
that.
not happy with that
There have been
at
some
all.
documented
And I have
instances.
72, but I have 72 associations underneath me, and
Okay.
about
Here's
30 of them are
here's what I want you to do.
Here's what-
I want you to talk.
Let me tell you what's going to
I want you to talk to Chuck.
Let me tell
Chuck explained to me how this needs to be done. If you agree with Chuck saying this is the way it needs to be done, we're going to need at least a couple of months.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Chuck, you're on the security committee. You're at the meetings, right?
I'm not on the committee, sir, but I'm
You're at the meeting. Okay. So I need your help moving the ball forward with Eric and his committee. Okay? So what I'm hearing is that we need to quickly evaluate the specifications to be used for bidding. Okay? And we need to compile those. We need to get those to Eric's committee. Make sure Eric's committee has full opportunity to input on those, because obviously they've already had their meeting and they're not going to have another meeting for another couple of weeks.
And then you get a copy of the
And then,
specifications.
hold on. So the next thing that needs to happen is once those specifications are finalized, I'd like for you, Eric, if you could send all those specifications to the board. And Chuck, you can do that. Send it to the board. Let's get board feedback on the specifications, okay?
I don't want to waste my time with this new concept that everybody likes. If we have to go out and get a 50% vote, I need an opinion from your lawyer.
We can do that.
Could you do that for us, please?
So very clearly, though, the issue is there a requirement
Yes.
that we maintain a guard, an active physical
Well,
guard?
unless
at the gate?
there was a majority of the homeowners
Correct.
say they don't want it.
Correct. So the question is a manned guard gate the kind of amenity
Yeah,
that if it's removed would require a majority vote of the residents.
exactly.
There we go.
As opposed to a
So
virtual.
we'll ask for an opinion on that issue.
Yeah.
But assuming, well, regardless of the answer,
Yeah,
okay, I still think that the committee needs to put together and finalize the specifications.
absolutely.
And then, once those specifications are finalized, it needs to be emailed to the board so the board can review it and input. Once that's done, once the input and comment period is done, then it's turned over to the security committee, and you guys can do it on your timeline. What I would ask is, because of the urgency or the sense of urgency by some that are on this board to make a change, I would ask that the security committee have a meeting, not necessarily a monthly meeting, but maybe a meeting that splits the month, or maybe a meeting that's specifically dedicated to evaluating bids. And Chuck can help with any type of busy work that needs to be done in terms of putting it on a spreadsheet, making sure that we have apples to apples. And then Eric, I'll leave it up to you in your committee to do the interviews and to interview the vendors and how you want to do it. I would just ask that there be some general urgency on dealing with it, because again, if we give a 30-day notice to the security company, we have to expect the day they receive it is the day they'll leave. That may not be the case, but it could be the case. So we just want to keep moving in that fashion. So that's my direction. I hope that it meets, generally speaking, the consensus of the board, and that's what I'd ask you to do. There's no motion or action that's going to be taken.
Well, I just have an issue that is I look at some others, and I mean, trying to integrate it with our communication systems, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't look at that factor.
That can be something that can be looked at, absolutely.
I mean, I would really encourage you to look at that as far as integrating our home monitoring.
You've got a lot of information I know that you've gathered in terms of monitoring and all of that.
Yeah.
Please provide that to Chuck so that this can be circulated to the security committee and it can be evaluated as part of the specifications.
Yeah.
And the concept is to integrate the homes and the monitoring and all the stuff with the
With our
security
internet,
company. Right, okay. Yes.
I'm a little confused here. The question is actually to Eric. Eric, I know I did it to a few of your security meetings. Did your committee actually vote to search for a new vendor?
No.
Okay, see, that's why I have an issue.
Actually, we
Yes,
did.
we did.
The very first thing. Actually, we did.
We didn't have a notion.
I asked the chair of the committee. I asked the chair of the committee.
There's been direction by the board that the board is going to move forward with the process of finding a new vendor.
I can make, no, let me make a big comment first. I don't have anything against or for ground security. I have no problem replacing ground security. The property manager and myself decided to give them 30 or 45 days of camp thereafter, which they have slowly improved. I'm not saying that we keep them, but we also don't want to rush the process.
I understand.
So, yeah, in 60 days or 30 days, or if we meet once a week or twice a week and meet with these vendors, the specs will take an hour. It'll take us an hour to develop specs. We already have the specs that we have. Katie's already provided the specs. But, you know, I've met with Chuck weekly. This is a process that we decided to take. If we did vote that first meeting, I don't recall that. Generally,
Only like end the relationship with vendors. Yeah, go.
But it wasn't a committee
Hold on,
vote.
let me finish this comment.
that's it.
It was not a committee vote.
Okay. Quickly, Wood.
Okay, first, I was the co-chair of the security committee for one meeting, because after one meeting, I fell off, okay? The very first meeting, we voted, there was a majority vote that we were gonna look for a new company. It's in the minutes of the meeting. Second, I have law enforcement background, I served 4 years in the Coast Guard. And when we had one of our watch gangers fall asleep at night, and we got sued, I think, for $30 million because somebody drowned and died, that's the issue with the company, where our new company, or our new parking members, within the first month are already saying that, I think we're on strike 5 already, for people who don't do their job properly. More importantly, they falsify training records. That's what the state of Florida says. They falsify training records. Part of that training is first aid, CPR, things that Mike is a firefighter. I'm sure you know CPR, you know basic life-saving things. And if these people are falsifying their records and somebody has an issue, a major medical issue, sometimes they don't even answer the phone at the gate. I've called before, they rang 30 times. I go back, they rang 30 times.
Yeah,
Because
but-
the guy's probably sleeping.
Will, no one disagrees.
But what I'm saying is, when you have someone who's been caught sleeping, you don't say, well, we're going to keep them there until we find something better. You get rid of them. If my secretary can't answer my phone, I don't say, I'm going to keep her there answering the phone until I find somebody else because she's a moron. I can rip her, I answer my own phone.
So wait,
So
hold
what I'm
on.
saying is, you can't go,
Will, hold on, Will.
I'm saying,
Will, we
listen to your most important vendor who's on site, which is our property manager.
You had us and then you lost
Wait,
us.
let me, okay. There appears to be a negative connotation that I want or don't want general security. I don't have a problem if we remove general security, but with all due respect, well, you're crazy as hell if you think you can remove a security company and not have another one ready to go. Because
Listen,
I know me, Bob, and
We're
Dan
not gonna
aren't gonna
spend
sit in
any
that
more time on
guardhouse in the row of the neighborhood and patrol.
There's no more action, there's no action to be taken. Your point is well taken, that you're not in favor and one way or the other. We're not gonna spend any more time on this. The bottom line is that I think we've got a clear direction of the security committee. I'm asking the security committee to come back to the board with specifications that'll be emailed, and then we'll begin the process of interviewing people. Okay? So, the bid specifications need to be emailed around before the next meeting.
So we're voting next meeting on what we're doing with security?
No. Right now, the bid specifications are being finalized by the security committee.
Right.
We're going to email them around to the board. We're going to get feedback from the board, making sure that the specifications have been finalized. And at that point, when the specifications are finalized, then Eric and his committee can run with it in terms of interviewing vendors, getting bids, and Chuck will assist with all the legwork. Is everybody clear on that? Okay. Let's go to something a little easier and quicker. Management office equipment. The bottom line is that we have minimal at best. I mean, we have, training wheels on our office equipment, okay? We don't have a copier that can work. It's taking forever to print things. It's taking forever to make copies of things. Chuck's got his hands tied. And so I've asked Chuck to put together bids for copiers so that we can have a fully functioning office. Now, he has circulated those bids. It's in your folder here, I believe. Let me just tell you what my concerns are, okay? My concerns are the following. I don't like the idea of signing an open-ended copier lease that is basically running in perpetuity. I have a big problem with that. These things are profit centers for copy companies, okay? They're profit centers, and we get screwed. So the question that I've got, Chuck, is there a way that we can evaluate these bids as against purchasing equipment? Because that's my concern, is that, we sign a lease that the deal is for $11,000 in payments and the equipment costs $2,000. So what's the answer to that question?
Well, I have that same concern. Anyone who brought forth an offer like a bid in that regard is not on this list. Because it's just not, we can't do that, I agree. The three copiers that did not do that, the first one, the in-studio 3530, that's a $16,000 copier that it was a demo at a ratio. The gentleman at Superior has 36 months, 135 with a dollar buyout. And that just is sweet. You can't get it better than that. And then with the service agreement, because they'll give us 6 months of service free, the cost of the service agreement is $7,200 for 36 months. And the cost of the unit with no service agreement is $4,473. That's the 5 unit outlet. Tax and delivery. Now the other unit, the center unit there, bid back 2, that unit to buy out is $22.99, but it's got over 200 hours. So it's halfway through its life.
What's the difference between the pieces of equipment, okay? And what are we talking, give me some size and nature of the equipment that we're talking about here. We're talking about one of those giant ones you
Yeah,
buy in
that's
the
it.
office,
That's the,
smaller, what is it?
All the pictures are in the back of the
Okay.
book.
I didn't see the
Yeah,
picture.
that's why I apologize.
Okay.
The first one, E-Studio, this is the unit here.
These are multi-function,
Yes, sir.
fax, copier, okay, but not like something that you're gonna buy
And
for a
chaos
house.
we're speaking about down the road, want to do
Okay.
some sort of publication out of here, that machine will do that.
Yeah.
Whatever that machine will do.
What's your recommendation at this point, Cheryl?
My recommendation is the first one, sir.
Is it?
Yes, because of the value, at $16,000 copier, we're getting, depending on how we buy it. But at the middle, that's where we're getting, $7,000. If we go full lease, 36 months with, service agreement. That's the highest.
So number one.
Yes, sir.
Toshiba, is that the one you're recommending?
What type of
Yes.
service, reviews, if you know, does Superior Copier have? Do they have a AAA, or is it a good rec with the
They're
BBB and?
Yeah, their licenses and customer service are good, what I read, but on the internet, that's all I could read. I want to try to find someone, or a couple of people that they've sold copiers to.
Get some references.
Yeah.
And is this the kind of copier that is going to be able to be utilized by you and Danielle Lagoda?
Absolutely.
Okay, is it air pressure?
Yeah, airfare.
So, yeah, meaning like if
Oh,
she's wireless
Oh,
and
yeah, absolutely,
hard?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Question.
Yes, is that?
Is it the service agreement also include the current
Yes,
value?
yeah, for 36 months. But it's $79, right there, $79 for the service, but you'll get us 6 months of service.
Second, question number two, what you scan, do you have the HOA license out of this deal?
I did not say.
Probably not.
You get charged, we don't get charged on like a per copy or per scan basis for these things, right? Okay, 'cause sometimes they hit and junk like that too, and you're passive.
We could probably get the license for $300 per week. And what it does is it reduces the file size.
Exactly.
And you can also do what they call the OCR.
Absolutely.
Which can storage.
Text recognition.
Correct, yeah. This one is $350.
Right.
So you all,
So the recommendation has been back when we have questions.
right
Yes.
here. So, does your price include the hole punch option?
There is an option there,
Is it included in your pricing?
I did not.
And what about stapling?
Stapling, yes.
Stapling is included.
That's pretty much standard on this machine.
Any other
So did
questions?
we want to include the hole punch?
I didn't even inquire about it, but I could.
As a board, I'm
I
asking
think
the
we have a
question.
three-hole punch next to it that you use and it saves you whatever cost.
The electronic.
Oh, trust me when I tell you, if you're making copies and you're shooting things off, it's, oh my
Can
God.
I make a comment?
So this thing's like $200 a month basically with a service agreement, which are 36 months,
Yes, sir. It's,
$7,200 bucks.
214.
but that includes full service.
Yes,
Includes toner.
yes.
Are there any other charges that we could reasonably incur?
Includes the toner?
Yes, it
First
does.
one is $6.
During the service agreement, we have to stay under 3,000 copies. which we-
Definitely a huge savings.
It is.
Yeah.
No, I believe the first 6 months are free. Let me make sure that everybody's with me. Everybody, no side conversations, everybody with me here. The bid pack number one, the cost is $72.30. That's purchasing the equipment
It's total cost.
plus service agreement. First 6 months of the service agreement are free.
Yes, sir.
All toners included for the first, up to the 3,000 copies. Okay.
Per month is whatever.
Per month.
3,000 copies.
Per month, so 36,000. I mean, okay, so, and that's $200 a month for us. Out of curiosity, since we're purchasing this, is this the kind of stuff that we can appreciate?
Yes.
No, it doesn't help us anything, appreciate
It
it.
doesn't financially. Financially, it would be better financially, to your knowledge, better financially if we buy it versus lease it.
There's no,
No difference. Okay. Do we know what the salvage value of these things is after 3 years?
I do not, but the reason why, Dan, is I like the bid pack one is because if you look, when I did some research on the